Hello guys, myself Chirag. In this video, we will talk about CMOS inverter. Before watching this video, kindly watch my previous video on inverter. Link is given in description. So here we go. In my last video, we have talked about the type of inverters, and we have already discussed two type of inverter. First was MOS inverter with passive resistance. We already discussed that. And second one we have discussed was MOS inverter with saturated NMOS. And third video, in this video we will talk about CMOS. And we have seen in our last video that uh, when we use resistance, this is RD resistance is called passive resistance. When we use passive resistance, the power dissipation was high. So this was the disadvantage. To overcome this issue, we moved to saturated NMOS inverter. But in this case also, power dissipation was not zero. Static power dissipation was not zero. There was a something value. But advantage over passive resistance was this circuit uses less area compared to this MOS inverter with passive resistance. So we have already discussed these in our last video. Link is given in description. Now in this video we will talk about the CMOS. Why we move to CMOS? So we will talk about CMOS. Before talking about CMOS, just let's finish ideal inverter. Ideal inverter is nothing but a NOT gate. Here is input, here is output. Output is nothing but a bar of input. When input is low, output is high. Here you can see that. Here on x-axis we have taken input Vi. If input is low, then output is high. Okay, on y-axis we have taken output. And when input was high, output was low. That was the characteristic of ideal inverter. Now we will see the characteristic of CMOS. This is a circuit of CMOS. CMOS consists of two type of MOSFET, NMOS and PMOS. At lower side we always use NMOS and upper side we always use PMOS. That was a complementary circuit. It is complementary circuit. Why complementary? When we use both type of MOSFET, then that type of circuit is called complementary circuit, because at a time only one MOSFET will be activated. That's why it is called complementary. Now we will discuss the operations in next slides. First question which can be asked in about CMOS is about area. Is area same? Area of PMOS and NMOS same or different? This is a first question which can be asked. You should always remember that current is same. Let's assume one condition when both MOSFET are in saturation, then in saturation condition ID is some constant K VDS minus VT ka whole square. In that case, that K is transconductance value. Transconductance value of PMOS and NMOS must be same. So this is a first condition. Condition is that transconductance should be same. It should be same. Transconductance is mu n CUX W upon L. It is a transconductance for NMOS, and for PMOS transconductance is mu P COX W dash upon L dash. This is transconductance for PMOS. You already know that mobility mu n is mobility of electron. Here mu p is mobility of hole. You already know that mu n is greater than mu p. So in this case, if transconductance is same, then area W upon L is width upon length ratio. Then it must be different. So W upon L should not be equal to W dash upon L dash. So area of PMOS is higher. So area of PMOS is greater than area of NMOS because mobility is less than hole mobility is less than electron mobility. This is the first question which can be asked on CMOS. We will discuss three cases when input is first we will discuss the two extreme cases where input is high and input is low. So here is input. First assume input is high. Input is high means VDD, DC power supply. Here VDD is DC power supply. So when input is high, PMOS is off. So when input is high, PMOS is off because total voltage VSGP is less than threshold voltage. So PMOS will be open circuit because voltage across PMOS is less than threshold value. So it will be open circuit. And NMOS will be in triode region. Why triode region? If input is VDD and if output is V output, it will satisfy condition VDS is less than VGS minus VT. Okay. Output is 0. V output is nothing but a VDS. So 0 is less than VDD minus VT. So it is a true. So it is in triode region. NMOS is in triode region. And in triode region, current value is, this is the value of current ID, mu n COX W upon L VGS minus VT. In this case, we know the drain resistance. This is a drain resistance. Here NMOS is replaced by drain resistance. This is NMOS. Now NMOS is in triode region, so it is replaced by drain resistance. But in this case also, current ID will be 0. So V output will be 0. So when input is high, output is 0. So this is a first case. And transistor QN is also known as pull down circuit because it can quickly discharge the load capacitance. Now assume there was a load. In this case, QN, this is a QN. QN is called pull down device because it will discharge load capacitor quickly. So that's why it is called pull down device. Now second case, when input is low. When input is low, the NMOS will be off and PMOS will be in triode region. You know that when V input is 0, it will be off. So it is open circuit. And in this condition, PMOS will be in triode region. In this condition also, ID will be 0. So in that case, output will be high. So in this case, when input is 0, output will be VDD. It is a property of inverter. In this case also, PMOS is replaced by its drain resistance. It is called RDSP, and its value is given by this formula. Now transistor QP is called pull-up device. Let's assume there was a load capacitance. In that case, current will pass through this circuit, so it will quickly charge the capacitor. That's why QP is called PMOS is called pull-up device. Now we will consider the middle case when input is VDD by 2. In that case, both NMOS and PMOS will be in saturation region, and there will be something there. ID is not equal to 0. ID is maximum in this condition, because both PMOS and NMOS are in saturation. We can see that VDS is less than VGS minus VT. If this condition happen, then NMOS क्या होगा? NMOS will be in saturation. We know that VDS is output. Let's assume output is VDD by 2 and input is VDD by 2 minus VT. So it is true condition. So in this condition, when input is VDD by 2, both PMOS and NMOS will be in saturation, and output will also be VDD by 2. We will see it in next slide. Now this is the overall VTC diagram. VTC is voltage transfer characteristic. On x-axis there is a input, on y-axis there is a output. We have already discussed the ideal case of VTC. Ideal case, this is a ideal case. In this there is a sharp change, but we know that nothing is ideal. So this is a case for CMOS. We know that when input is less than threshold voltage, NMOS will be off. So when NMOS will be off, output was high. We have already discussed this case, and one case when input was high. In that case, PMOS was off. At this case, output was 0. So we have already discussed these two cases, and we have also discussed middle cases when input is VDD upon 2. In that case, output will be also be VDD upon 2. In this case, both PMOS and NMOS will be in saturation. P and NMOS will be in saturation. We have already discussed these three cases, and there are also two cases, which is in this part A to B. In this part, QN is in NMOS is in saturation and PMOS is in triode region. In last video we have already discussed this case also, and in middle both are in saturation, and in this case, in C and D cases, PMOS is in saturation but NMOS is in triode region, and in last case PMOS was in off condition. These are the three cases. So in this case, we know that this is a line, y is equal to mx plus c. Here y is the output, so output is VDS, and something slope m. Input is VGS plus c. We know that VDS is equal to VGS minus VT. So this line equation is VGS equal to VDS equal to VGS minus VT. VDS equal to VGS minus VT. This is a line. When VDS is greater than VGS minus VT, all above cases are NMOS in saturation. In all these conditions, NMOS is in saturation. When VDS is less than VGS minus VT, all these cases are in, NMOS are in triode region. Okay. Now it is a condition for PMOS, and this is a line equation. VSD VDS is equal to VGS minus VT, and we know that threshold voltage for PMOS is positive, so it is a plus. So that's why we know that this is a VTP, threshold voltage for P-type condition, P-type. So in this condition, PMOS is in saturation, and above condition, PMOS is in triode region. That's why we have right here QP is in triode region. Now we will discuss the power dissipation. There are two types of power dissipation: static power dissipation and dynamic power dissipation. Here we will discuss static power dissipation. This power is occurs when inverter is not switching, means input is constant. When input Vi is constant, then it is called static power. Constant may be either input is 0 or either is input is VDD. In both case, if it is constant, then it is called static power. In this case, we have seen that when input is 0 and input is VDD, in both condition ID was 0. In both condition current was 0. That's why when we power dissipation is ID into VDD, so power dissipation is 0. So in static condition, power dissipation is 0. And next is dynamic power dissipation. It is an important topic for ISRO or other examination interview questions. But dynamic component of CMOS is not 0. What is dynamic? Dynamic is when input is changing. When input is changing from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. This condition is called dynamic. In this condition, power arises when internal capacitance exists between output node of the inverter. You know that there is a load capacitance. Okay, when there is a load capacitance, when when output or input changes states, capacitor do not discharge quickly. It takes some time. So in this condition, there is a power loss. This is a component of dynamic power. Dynamic power is equal to FC Vd square Fc. Here F is frequency of input. So this is a very important question for written examination and both interview question. Dynamic power is proportional to frequency of input signal, and it is also proportional to capacitance of load capacitance, and it is also proportional to DC power supply. And you know that if frequency is 0, frequency 0 means input is constant. In this case, dynamic component is 0. Now we will talk about the power propagation delay. But propagation delay of CMOS is not 0. it has a some value. Let's assume input, this is a input pulse, and let's assume it is a ideal. Ideal means there is a sharp change, but when input go from 0 to 1 or 0 to VDD, here capacitance C takes some time to charge the capacitor. So this is a output, V output. In ideal case, V output should be like this, but this is not an ideal case because capacitor takes some time to discharge and charge, so there is a some smooth change. That's why it contribute to some delay. There is two type of delay: TPHL, high to low propagation delay, and low to high propagation delay. The formula is TPH equal to alpha C upon K W upon L VDD, and TP is equal to 1 upon 2 average of high to low and low to high propagation delay. Now here there are two interview questions which can be asked, and TP is proportional to C. So interviewer can ask you what we can do to reduce propagation delay. So you must TP is proportional to load capacitor, so you must decrease. So designers should choose the value of capacitor such that C should be less. If C is low, then propagation delay will be low. Now next, here K is transconductance value. Now a delay is anti-proportional to transconductance value. When transconductance is high, propagation delay will be less. Now we already know that K is mu n into Cux, and here is W upon L. W upon L. If we increase W upon L, W means width. If we increase the area or aspect ratio, then propagation delay will be less. But there is a problem. We cannot increase the size of CMOS. So this idea is not good. So what we can do is we can increase COX. COX is oxide capacitance. Then it is when we increase COX, it will decrease propagation delay. So these are the two questions which can be asked in interviews. So here is the summary. So static power is almost zero, very low. Ideally, ideally it is a low, but ideally it is a zero, but there is a something value. So static power is almost zero. Static power, P static, is approximate 0, but P dynamic is proportional to FC VDD square upon 2. This is a now the complexity of circuit is reduced. This is a second benefit because there is a no resistance value, so complexity is reduced. Now due to VLSI technology, high density of logic circuit can be possible. High noise immunity, and what interview can ask the question, what is your assumption? Your assumption is that Qn and Qp are matched. Match means their transconductance values are equal. When their transconductance values are, we have already discussed, transconductance value K is equal to mu n Cux W upon L, and Kp is equal to mu p Cux W upon L. We already know that mobility are different, so area must be different. Please write doubts in comment section and subscribe my channel to get latest update. Thank you.